Hello, friends. To dive into today's topic, I want to begin with a story. On a quiet corner of a city sidewalk, Elijah sat alone, a homeless man who had lost everything after a personal financial collapse. Each morning he took his usual place on a busy avenue, hand outstretched in hope. But to the steady flow of pedestrians, he was little more than part of the scenery, a blurred figure in the background of their fast-paced lives. Most people offered nothing more than a few loose coins or an indifferent glance, as if his presence was just a forgotten crack in the pavement. One day, during yet another monotonous morning, Elijah sat near a bus stop when a sharply dressed man in a business suit suddenly stopped in front of him. Reflexively, Elijah extended his hand to ask for money, but the man didn't reach for his wallet. Instead, he looked Elijah in the eye and asked, "Have you ever given something to anyone?" The question hit like a bolt of lightning. Elijah froze. After a pause, he mumbled, "I have nothing to give." The man offered a quiet smile and said, "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you'll never be able to receive anything that truly lasts." And with that, he walked away, leaving behind a sentence that would echo in Elijah's mind like a riddle waiting to be solved. That night, Elijah couldn't sleep. The stranger's words looped endlessly in his thoughts like a haunting melody. The next morning, as he wandered past a nearby park, he noticed a group of kids playing without any adults nearby. Something stirred in him. He didn't ask for money. He didn't expect anything. He simply sat down and began telling them a fairy tale, one he still remembered from his childhood. The children giggled and listened with wide eyes. A mother passing by watched the moment unfold, handed him a few dollars and said, "Thank you for making my child smile." For the first time, Elijah had received something, not because he begged for it, but because he gave something of himself. From that day forward, Elijah returned to the square every morning to tell stories. He began writing short tales on scraps of paper he found, folding them into paper airplanes and boats to hand out to the kids. These small, simple acts quietly became a cherished part of the neighborhood's daily rhythm. One afternoon, a local blogger happened to walk by and snapped a photo of Elijah mid-story. The image, along with his story, went viral online. Within days, Elijah was invited to help compile a collection of his tales under the title Sidewalk Stories. Not long after, the local library offered him his own reading nook, where children gathered every week to hear him speak. At his first book launch, held in a modest room brimming with light and laughter, Elijah spotted a familiar face in the crowd. It was the man from the bus stop, the one who had planted the seed of change. They shook hands. The man smiled and said, "Looks like you found something to give." Elijah, with a quiet but deeply moved smile, replied, "And I received far more than I ever imagined." Elijah's journey is not just an uplifting story of transformation from homelessness to beloved storyteller. It's a powerful lesson in mindset, generosity, and the ripple effect of small acts of giving. His life reminds us that no matter how dire our circumstances may seem, each of us holds something of value, and by choosing to give it, we may end up changing our entire path. The question, "Have you ever given something to anyone?" posed by the man in the suit was more than a question. It was a challenge. It struck at the very core of how Elijah saw himself and the world. At that moment in his life, Elijah was trapped in a cycle of shame and helplessness. He saw himself as someone with nothing to offer, a person surviving only through the pity of strangers. But the man's words cracked open a new perspective, that a person's worth isn't defined by what they own, but by what they're capable of giving. This shift in mindset became the turning point of Elijah's story. It proved a simple yet profound truth, that sometimes a change in perspective is all it takes to change the direction of a life. In psychology, this mirrors the growth mindset popularized by Carol Dweck. The belief that people can grow, learn, and create value leads them to act in ways that make that belief real. For Elijah, transitioning from "I have nothing" to "I have something to offer" laid the foundation for every change that followed. The man's question wasn't just a prompt for action. It helped Elijah recognize the intangible gifts he still possessed: imagination, childhood memories, and the ability to tell stories. But the impact of this mindset shift didn't stop with Elijah. As he began sharing stories, the ripple effect spread. He didn't just reshape how he saw himself, he reshaped how his community saw him. From a forgotten figure on the sidewalk, he became a source of joy and inspiration. It reminds us that mindset isn't just an internal state. It's a tool that can transform our relationship with the world around us. At the heart of Elijah's story is the philosophy of giving and receiving. The suited man's words, "If you have nothing to give, you can't expect to receive anything that lasts," reflect more than a life lesson. They point to a universal law. Whether in business, relationships, or social progress, the exchange of value lies at the center of all meaningful interactions. In Elijah's case, his simple act of storytelling created joy, a form of value, for the children around him. And in return, he received gratitude, recognition, and eventually life-changing opportunities like publishing a book and becoming a celebrated part of the local community. This proves that giving doesn't have to mean money or material things. It can be time, attention, creativity, or even a small gesture that holds meaning. Elijah folding scrap paper into little boats and airplanes for kids is a perfect example. Those gifts, though simple, became symbols of creativity and kindness. This philosophy also finds strong support in social psychology. The principle of reciprocity teaches that when people give, others feel compelled to give back, not just materially, but emotionally and socially. Elijah's storytelling sparked connection. A mother gave him money not out of pity, but because she saw the value he brought. A blogger shared his photo because she was moved by the genuine impact of his presence. These reactions were all responses to Elijah's decision to give first. Beyond the practical and social effects, there's a deeper moral and spiritual truth here. Giving enriches not just the receiver, but the giver. Elijah didn't just receive money or attention. He found purpose, regained self-respect, and discovered a new reason to wake up each day. It's a reminder that giving is never a one-way street. It creates a ripple that changes both lives. One of the most powerful elements in Elijah's transformation was how he began to see himself differently. At first, he thought of himself as a failure, someone with nothing to offer but an outstretched hand. But through storytelling and the encouragement of the community, he began to realize that he was someone who could contribute value. Psychologists refer to this as self-concept. The way we see ourselves plays a huge role in shaping our behavior and our success. When someone believes they are capable and valuable, they act in ways that reinforce that belief. For Elijah, telling stories wasn't just a morning activity. It became a way to rewrite his identity. He wasn't just a homeless man anymore. He was a storyteller, an author, a valued member of his community, and that changed how he walked through the world. Community recognition played a critical role in that process. When the mother thanked him for making her child smile, and when the blogger helped his story reach thousands, those small acts of acknowledgement solidified Elijah's belief in his own worth. It's proof that change isn't always a solo journey. Often we need others, even just one person, to see our potential before we can see it ourselves. Elijah's story also underscores the power of intangible gifts. He had no money, no possessions, but he had memories, imagination, and heart. These invisible assets became the most valuable things he could offer. And that's a lesson for all of us. No matter how little we think we have, there's always something within us worth sharing, if we're willing to look deeply and act courageously. In many ways, Elijah's journey is a testament to how small actions can lead to big outcomes. Telling a fairy tale or folding a paper plane might seem insignificant, but those little moments pave the way for a new life. This mirrors a powerful idea from James Clear's best-selling book, Atomic Habits, that meaningful change often starts with small habits practiced consistently. Elijah's morning storytelling routine slowly built momentum, reputation, and opportunity. A simple action transformed his identity and changed how society saw him. Even more importantly, Elijah's story teaches us that the value of an action lies not in its scale, but in its meaning. A story might not be worth much on paper, but if it touches a heart, it can change a life. You don't need a grand opportunity to start making a difference. Sometimes the smallest honest gesture is enough to spark something much bigger. In the end, Elijah's story offers a message of profound hope in humanity. No situation is hopeless if you're willing to change how you see and how you act. Even from the lowest place in society, Elijah found a way to rise, not by asking for more, but by offering what he already had. It's a powerful reminder that regardless of where we start, every one of us has the potential to rewrite our story. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.